Leadership will be crucial in these days. We have the laws on the books, we have strong democratic institutions, and we have strong democratic values. But the truth is these institutions have not always functioned perfectly, and the values have not been lived into for all people at all times.
The murder of George Floyd over 2 weeks ago has prompted the response of so many people in the United States and abroad. It has also evoked a response from the international human rights community.
People everywhere are watching what's happening in the United States. And for many, the view is a critical one, looking to the faults in the United States through the history of racism and through its persistence in the present. But many are also looking at their own houses, their own communities, and seeing in them a common thread.
The murder of George Floyd and the protest that is happening in the United States right now, I want to connect this to what is happening around the world. Racism is not confined to the United States. Anti-Blackness is not confined to the United States. And over the last months, in the midst of this global pandemic, what's going on with the coronavirus, we've seen anti-Blackness on the rise in many countries.
Look at this in context of a long reciprocal relationship between African Americans and Africa, sometimes tense, sometimes cooperative, but always there has always been a notion of an incipient Pan-Africanism.
A lot of people, a lot of Africans are very angry, and they have been putting a lot of pressure on their leaders and their governments to step up and to speak against racism that's happening around the world.
Where we see the United States government or local jurisdictions responding to peaceful protesters who are raising their voices in a way which is completely consistent in a democratic society, where we see those leaders responding with military force, with tear gas, with an excessive use of police force, limiting the freedom of speech or the movement of people, that is where we're seeing democratic backsliding in our country.
This notion of treating America as exceptional, that we really should start to treat our politics as comparative, because for good or ill, we've seen a lot of parallels across the world.
The whole world is watching. They're watching the United States. They're watching a country committed to the rule of law and hoping and praying that we get out of this current distress and that we address the problems of systemic racism in this country.
This is really a sad moment of our history. It's a moment of outrage and anger, but also a moment of hope. A moment that when we see many young African-American young people in the United States standing up and saying out loud, saying loud and clear, enough is enough. Saying that we're not going to tolerate this anymore. We're not going to accept police brutality anymore. This sends a strong message to all of us.